This is going to be full of value. I've got 48 points written down. My name is Wavy. I am a platinum producer from Australia. I've produced for NBA, Youngboy, Nicki Minaj, Rod Wave, blah, blah, blah. Just so no one thinks that I'm just chatting shit. I guarantee you, if you watch the entire video, you're going to learn a whole lot. There's heaps of value in here, so let's get into the first point. The first time is always the hardest. Whether it's your first placement, your first beat sale, your first collab loop, your first kit sale, whatever it is, the first time is always the hardest, and it gets easier and easier and easier. Before you achieve that thing for the first time, it's very difficult because you sort of feel like you don't know what you're doing. But once you do it for the first time, then you've got the proof of concept. You know that it works, and it's going to be easier and easier every single time you do it after that. When I sold my first ever beat, it was an exclusive for around $100. All I could remember was, okay, if I've sold it once, I can do this 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times. And that's the same concept for anything. And it's very important to remember because you can get very discouraged and wonder, why haven't I achieved this yet? But it's like, bro, you're literally in the hardest point right now. Like, it's just going to get easier and easier. It's just important to keep that in mind. The next law, find the highest leverage tasks. And you can do this using the 80-20 rule. So this is the rule or the idea that 20% of the work that you do is responsible for 80% of the results that you get. So it's very important for you to understand what 20% is breeding you that large percentage of results. So for example, for me, my highest leverage tasks are making YouTube videos like right now, sending out loops, messaging people on Instagram. I know that they are going to give me the best ROI, return on investment. It's a much more valuable use of time. Compared to me making beats and uploading them on BeatStars, even though it feels like I'm doing something, normally nothing comes out of it. I might get a sale like once every few weeks or some shit on BeatStars. It's not as effective. So yeah, it's important to remember and analyze what your highest leverage tasks are so you can get the most results. The next law, post content. Posting content is so good. It's so important because you can get a whole lot of inbound leads. You can get people coming to you rather than you going to them. You never really know who's watching your videos. You never know who's watching your reels or TikToks or whatever. And it's just such a good way to get your name out there. You're going to be in their subconscious mind and you never know. Maybe they're going to hit you up for an album opportunity later. Maybe they enjoy your content so much that they want to buy kits from you or do some sort of... Look, there's a million things you can do, but there is a reason why all of these multi-millionaires, these businessmen and very successful people are trying to get into the YouTube game right now. They're all posting content. They're all posting reels. It's for good reason because attention is super important. We're in an attention economy. That's what people say. And you can easily turn attention into placements and you can easily turn attention into money, blah, blah, blah. And you can achieve the attention by posting content. The next one, traffic and product. So if you are selling products, if you are selling beats or you're selling loop kits or multi-kits or one-shot kits, whatever it is, you need traffic and you need a good product. So if you're watching this and you've been producing for a few years, I'm going to assume that your product is already good. I'm going to assume that your music is already really good, which just means you need more traffic in order to get more sales. So the ways you can get traffic is, like I just said before, posting content. You can pay for ads as well. You can pay YouTubers to use your stuff. These are all examples of ways that you can get traffic to your product. And once you get traffic to your product, once you get traffic and then the product is good, then you're going to get sales, you're going to make money. This is really important because I see most people have a good product, but they don't get enough traffic. They don't talk about their product as much and they're leaving money on the table. The next one, kill two birds with one stone. So this is a very important tip. It is the concept of doing multiple things at once. So I'll give you an example. Let's say that I'm making a loop from scratch. Once I finish that loop, I can make a starter out of that loop. I can make a MIDI out of that loop. I can take the guitar lead that I did and put it into a guitar phrase kit. I have just done 5 or 6 things from one loop. And this is super important. When you're doing multiple things, when you're killing 2 birds with one stone or you're killing 6 birds with one stone, you can accelerate your progress and you're going to have a whole lot of different things ready. You're going to have, by the end of the month, you're going to have a loop kit and a starter kit and a one-shot kit, whatever it might be, you're going to have multiple things going on at once. And this is going to help you just accelerate your progress. You're going to be able to get products out quicker. Some people, for example, will sit down and go, okay, I want to make a loop kit. I want there to be 30 loops. So they're just going to make 30 loops for that loop kit only. And then they make separate loops for weeklies. And then they make separate loops for placement. It's too much. It's just, you're adding like 3-4 times the amount of workload when you do it this way. I much prefer to do multiple things at once. It just makes the 1 hour that you spent so much more worthwhile. Next law is learn basic sales. This is really important. If you're a producer, you're going to have people messaging you and they're going to want to buy things from you. They might want to buy beats. They might want to buy a vocal preset. God knows what they want to buy. But a lot of people, including me, are quite a lot of people know nothing about sales. And I don't blame you because you're a producer. You want to make music at the end of the day. But it is a very important skill to have. I watched a few videos on sales myself and I learned a whole lot of new things, and I tried it out on these people in my DMs and I sold them weekly spots. It was a much higher percentage of people buying it after I learned about sales than before. One of the most basic sales tips I can give right now, I'm not going to go into a full in-depth one in this video. It would just be to sell the benefit, not the product, okay? So let's say that I've got 30 loops that I'm putting in a loop kit. Me selling the product would be, yeah, I've made 30 organic handcrafted loops. I've used thousands of dollars of hardware. I've used this UXC8793 motherfucking amp. Yeah, they're organic, whatever the fuck that means. Blah, 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 blah. I'm listing the product. I'm describing the product. But me describing the benefits would be like, these loops are designed to give you an edge over all the other producers. You're going to get more placements. You're going to get more sales, blah, blah, blah. That's really basic, but they are the benefits of the product instead of the actual product. So you want to describe the benefits of the product. Lamborghini do this. You go to a Lamborghini dealer and they're not going to be like, yeah, bro, we got this horsepower engine. This is carbon fiber, blah, blah. Instead, they'll sell the benefit. They'll sell the dream. They'll be like, bro, imagine you driving through town. All the girls are looking at you. The guys are respecting you because you're driving in the Lamborghini. You're getting all these stares. You're getting all this attention. People want to know who you are. People want to network with you, blah, blah, blah. They are the benefits of the Lamborghini. It is much more enticing to talk about that instead of the actual product. Adding on to that, the next law would be to learn basic marketing as well, because you are always marketing yourself as a producer, whether you know it or not. Especially if you're selling kits or you're selling beats, you have to know how to market yourself. If you're failing in this aspect, just leaving money and placements or whatever on the table. The person who has all right beats, but they're great at marketing is going to make more money than the person who has great beats but doesn't know how to market, because from the point of view of a consumer, you're seeing this guy all the time. You're seeing the guy with mid beats but he's great at marketing. You're much more likely to buy from him instead. When you are very confident in your product and you know it's a great product, talk about it a lot, promote it a lot. Don't have any shame in doing it. It's actually, you're doing the market a disservice if you're not constantly talking about your product. You have a moral obligation, if your product is that good, to make sure people get it, because they're genuinely missing out. If you know your product is this good, you have to think this person is missing out if they don't buy it. And when you have that conviction, it translates into the way that you market it. It translates into the amount of money you're making. All right, the next law, making the chord progression is often the hardest part. I realized this yesterday when I was making a loop. The hardest part of making a loop, or the hardest part of making a beat, is normally just the chord progression. It's because you feel a bit guilty using the same one all the time or using a basic one. So naturally in your head, you're trying to come up with something a bit more creative. But yeah, I guess if you're looking at a blank FL and you're trying to come up with the chord progression, the very first part of the entire process, and you're struggling, don't get discouraged. Just remember, it's the hardest part. So once you get over that little barrier, it just gets easier. It's easier to add to a skeleton or to a concept than have nothing at all, no reference or anything. All right, the next one is force yourself to make music when you don't want to. This might be a bit controversial because I know people say they get creative burnout and stuff. I do get creative burnout as well, but even if you've run out of creativity, you can still make music, right? You can still use someone else's starter. You can still make a beat. There's always something you can actually be doing, right? Sometimes when there's deadlines that just have to be met, when you have to send out a pack for this guy, send out these loops for this guy, sometimes you just have to force yourself to make the music. So just get into the habit of doing it. If your brain is fucked, don't just go, oh, okay, I'm going to take a break for a few days. Sometimes you just have to stick it, because who's going to win? The person who takes a 3-day, 1-week break every time they run into creative block, or the guy that just keeps going and pushes through it and maybe is making 80 to 90% good loops instead of 100% good loops. This guy's always going to win. The next one, stop setting yearly goals. Yearly goals are a bunch of bullshit. I guarantee you, like any yearly goals I've ever written, like I already knew that I had these goals. There was no point of me writing them down. It's like, oh, I want to make $100,000 this year. It's like, you already fucking know that. You don't need to write it down. Yearly goals are stupid because yearly goals allow for complacency. You can be 3 months into the year and you've done nothing to get towards that goal. You've been lazy, you've been complacent, but in your mind, you're like, oh, I've still got 9 months to go. It's okay. No, it's not fucking okay, bro. Do not set yearly goals. It's much better to set daily goals instead. You want to be pushing yourself every day. You want to be holding yourself accountable. You want to meet these deadlines. You don't want to set yearly goals. A year is so long. A year is so far away. It's way too long. It allows for complacency. You see it all the time. It hits June and July and they've done nothing. And they're like, oh, it's okay. I've still got 5 months left. Like, bro, what the fuck? All right, next law. People have to like you to buy from you. So in most cases, if someone wants to give you their hard-earned cash, if they want to enter their PayPal details, they want to enter their credit card details, they're going to have to like you to an extent. So there are many ways you can get people to like you. You can give out a lot of value. You can give out a lot of value. Maybe you run a beat store and you do crazy offers every week or something. That is giving value. That's going to make people like you. Or you can make content, as I said in the previous point, and you can give out value like that. You can tell someone some crazy VST you just found or some crazy guitar trick. Whatever it might be, when you give value, people will like you. I guess this is a separate point in itself, but yeah, it's just very important. It's very important to keep this in mind. You just want to give value, give value, give value, give value. People will like you, and then in return, every now and then you can take. You give out these flash deals, these crazy beat sales, these crazy beat offers. Maybe you tell people these tricks on how they can make cool cover arts, some shit. Every now and then you can take and you can get that sale. All right, next point, a YouTube subscriber is much more valuable than an Instagram follower. I literally realized this the other day. Someone who spends 5, 10, 15 minutes with you on YouTube is going to remember you a lot more than someone who's on Instagram who saw your reel for 15 seconds and then clicked the follow button. This is related a lot to the whole posting content thing, because you might be wondering, what platform should I attack? Because it's very hard to attack all the multiple different platforms at the same time. So my personal recommendation is to get on YouTube. If you watch this entire video all the way through, you're definitely going to learn something good, and you're going to remember me a lot more than if you just saw me on Instagram for 5 seconds, because you're spending, I don't know how long this video will be, an hour or 2 hours. You're spending 1 or 2 hours with me, so you're going to remember me a lot more. Adding on to that, any person that's watching this video for a long time is a higher quality person and a higher quality producer, because YouTube is a lot more educational. People have longer attention spans. They're just higher quality people. So it's better if you're attacking and interacting with those people opposed to the people on Instagram. Not to say that everyone on Instagram is stupid, but yeah, if you are planning on growing your personal brand and posting content, I highly recommend YouTube, because I've tried everything. I prefer YouTube the most. All right, next law, identify trends and position yourself amongst them. So this is something that I realized I've actually been doing for a while coincidentally, and some people will say, oh, stop chasing trends, you should make your own trends, blah, blah. Bro, it's like, bro, shut the fuck. But yeah, going back to this point, I realized that I've been doing this for a while. Like when the Young Boy loops were popping, I was doing the Young Boy loops. Soul stuff was very popular last year. I did some soul stuff. The Nico Baran loops are crazy. I just uploaded a tutorial on that. When you're amongst the trends and what's popular, quite often you can capitalize upon them. I'm not saying to drop everything and just jump from trend to trend. I'm not necessarily saying that. I'm just saying it's important to keep in mind what is going on at the moment in the music scene, and just think about ways that can help you. Vocal samples are very, very popular right now. So you can look at that and go, okay, I'm going to make a vocal sample pack, right? That is very valuable. That is valuable. That's positioning yourself amongst a trend, and it's going to help you. All right, the next law, focus on one sound at the beginning, okay? You want to become the guy for a certain sound at the beginning of your career. Let's say someone needs rod wave loops. Immediately, you're going to be able to think of 3 to 4 guys who make rod wave loops. And guess what? You're going to go to those people. You're not going to go to the person who's like okay at rod wave loops, and he's okay at these loops, and he's okay at R&B loops, and he's okay at guitar loops, right? You're going to go to the people who are the guy for the rod wave loops, okay? So when you're starting in your career and you've thought of an artist who you want to get a song with, become the guy for that. Really study that exact subcategory, that sub-niche, and become really good at it and become that guy for it, because then you're going to be the go-to guy. When rod wave people need loops, people are going to go to you instead of this other person who can produce in every single genre, but he's not that good at it, right? Focusing on one sound is very important. Like I use a rod wave example because I know people who've just been attacking the rod wave angle for a while. Like Flex, for example, he got like 4 songs on the album that just came out. 4 songs. And he's been making those loops since like 2021, 2022. He is one of the guys for rod wave loops. When you think of rod wave loops, you think of him. And he's going to continue to get more placements. That was a better decision for him to stick to the rod wave loops than to just be drifting amongst all of these different things. Next law, strike when the iron is hot. When you have attention, when you've gotten a placement, when you've had some success, that is your time to strike, okay? That is not your time to kick your feet up and relax and say, oh, I'm so good, I achieved it, I've got the proof of concept, I can do it later. This is what I did when I was 18, when I got on my first young boy placement. Yeah, I just kind of relaxed. I stopped going as hard. I stopped messaging people because I guess I got what I wanted and I got what I wanted to achieve. And then I sort of just relaxed, and that was fucking stupid. It makes me cringe just thinking about it. You want to strike. That's your time to keep going even harder. Because when you get that young boy placement, you're going to be messaging people. They're going to be looking at your page and they're going to see, oh shit, he produced on that young boy song. They're much more likely to work with you. Compare that to your young boy song came out 3 years ago. Like, sure, it's cool, but it's like people don't really give a fuck if it was 3 years ago. It doesn't matter as much. It's better to strike when the iron's hot. So if you do get your first placement, that is your time to attack. And that's the time to get the snowball rolling and let it become so big that it just never slows down. It just keeps going, keeps going. Next one, respond to every DM as fast as you can. Every single DM is an opportunity to work with new people, to learn something new, to make money with someone, to make money from someone. It's an opportunity. Don't be the guy that has too big of an ego to respond to people who might be lesser in their career or whatever. This is stupid. You're just shooting yourself in the foot. You don't know where this guy who you're ignoring is going to be in 5 years. It's better just to talk to everyone, and you can learn stuff from every single person. Even some guy who started producing yesterday with 12 followers. You can learn something from him because he might tell you about the problems he's experiencing, and then you can maybe make a kit idea out of that, right? And you can target the really new producers. You can make a YouTube video on how to solve their problem. I'm just giving an example, right? But yeah, even this guy with 12 followers, maybe he found some cool VST that he's using. Maybe he found some cool website for AI that helps you with your vocals or something. There's something to learn from everyone, money to be made with everyone or money to be made from everyone. So try your best to respond to every DM. Of course, some will slip through the cracks. Like, try and stay on top of it every day. Like, on your daily tasks, just write, respond to DMs. Also respond as fast as you can, because if I message you and then you message me back 1 minute later and then I message you back 1 minute later and the conversation's done in 15 minutes, that is much more effective than if this person waits 8 hours, this person waits 12 hours, and it takes like a week to have a conversation. You want it to be done quicker so you guys can start making moves quicker, you can start getting collabs in quicker, blah, blah, blah. All right, next point, shove your product down people's throats. So this kind of comes back to the marketing thing, but if you're very, very convinced in your product, you know it's a super good product, you have a moral obligation to sell it to the market. You have a moral obligation to shove it down people's throats, because if they don't buy your product, they're genuinely missing out and their life is going to genuinely be worse than if they were to buy it. The cost of them not buying it is higher than the cost of them buying it. That's the mind frame you want, but you can only have this mind frame if you're very, very, very confident in your product. Like my Guitar Mania product, for example, I'm so confident in it that I will happily shove it down people's throats, because I genuinely feel if you make guitar samples and you don't have it, you're missing out. If you make R&B loops, no, you're not missing out, because the Guitar Mania is going to help you as much. And I'm not going to shove it down this person's throat. You can feel like you're talking about the same product a lot and you're over marketing it, but the last time you just marketed it, someone heard about it for the first time. So you were talking about it all the way here, and you hit this point and you're like, oh, I'm overdoing it. But someone's just heard about it for the first time here. Don't be afraid to keep talking about it. And that's also how you can increase the shelf life of one of your products. It's better for you to be making sales 1 month, 2 months, 3 months after releasing your product than just on the first week and then it just dies and you stop talking about it and then bang. Next, put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. I genuinely believe you need to be doing content. You need to be putting yourself out there. Don't try and be some anonymous, mysterious guy. Not post your face and only post black screen stuff. It's like, bro, no one really cares about you, right? It's like, no one really cares about me either. Like, no one really cares about other people that much. At the end of the day, you're not watching this video because you care about me. You're watching this video so you can learn some concepts that you can apply to your own career, right? That's just the reality. So people aren't gonna cream their pants at your face review. Like, this is, no one really cares, right? But this is good. This is a liberating thing, because since no one really does care about you, then it's like, why not put yourself out there, right? People are busy with their own lives. People have their own missions, their own challenges. Just put yourself out there, because once you get over that obstacle, then you can really grow your personal brand, because you just stop kind of giving a fuck. Even for these videos, like I started doing these videos, I don't know how long ago, like a month or 2 months ago. And honestly, I was a bit scared because I'd never talked on the internet before. I was like, oh, what are people going to think? But you just do it. You just do it a lot and you realize, like, who gives a fuck, right? No one really cares. People message me and they say, yo, bro, this video is really helpful. Like, it's worth it, right? If this person thinks it's helpful, but this person thinks I'm weird for talking shit online, like, I don't give a fuck, right? It's a trade-off I'll take. I'd rather this guy like me and this person think I'm weird than just nothingness. Okay, the next point is you can't speak to 100% of the community at one time. But I know some people have limiting beliefs because they're like, oh, I don't want to talk about this. It's too basic. I don't want to talk about this because people already know about it. But it's like, bro, the Grammy nominated producer that already knows the tips you're talking about, he's not the target audience for the video anyways, right? You're not speaking to him. You're speaking to this new producer who's just heard this information. They've gone, oh my God, wow, that's going to change my life. So just remember who you're speaking to. But yeah, everybody is at a different stage of their career. Maybe you make a tutorial and you feel like the tutorial was super basic and you go, oh, everybody knows that. But that's not the reality, bro. You've just solved someone's biggest problem. Make your products truly free. So what I mean by this is, if you've done a free loop kit, you got a free beat list, whatever, don't make it truly free. You want to have some sort of exchange. So for example, what I do is when I post free loop kits, if you want to actually access the loop kit, you have to give me your email and you're gonna get added to my email list. Yeah, so I've given you free loops in exchange for an email, right? There's always some sort of value exchange going on. And this is important. You want to get some sort of benefit from your free products. Maybe you can get people to follow you on Instagram, subscribe to your channel, but you want someone to be doing something. For example, for the YouTube loop kit, if I'm not collecting people's emails, I'm becoming a slave to the algorithm. So if the YouTube algorithm decides that the next loop kit I post does shit and YouTube doesn't want to push it out to people, that means that the loops that I've made are just going to do bad. They're not going to end up anywhere, blah, blah, blah. But if I've got an email list I can also send to, then I've got the guarantee that these people are going to see it, right? So it's like I'm just increasing chances of everything. I'm multiplying the amount of people using my loops, blah, blah, blah. All right, next one. Don't work with people who have an unjustified ego. I asked people a while ago, what are your biggest problems as a producer? And quite a lot of people said the egos of other producers. You don't want to work with someone who has a big ego because they're stupid. Maybe they have a few placements, but if they have a big ego and they're not responding to people and they think they're the fucking best thing on planet Earth, they're going to get a reality check sooner rather than later. They're going to realize that their ego has only gotten them so far and they've just hit a plateau and no one wants to work with them because they've got an ego, blah, blah, blah. Now, there's some people who have a justified ego, right? Like if you're just a fucking big boss producer, you can have an ego all you want. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the motherfuckers who have like one billboard placement and then they just like stop responding to people or some shit. Or they start charging everyone for collabs. Like, bro, I don't even need to explain why that's stupid. Yeah, you're much better working off with people that you like because if there's a $3,000 advance, you'd want to split it with someone that you like. You don't want to split it with this guy who has a weird ego and is annoying. You want to win with your boys. It's just much more fun. Yep, that's that point. And that leads into the next point, which is to have a white belt mentality. Approach everything you do as if you're a white belt and as if you don't really know what you're doing. Because what this does is it leaves so much room to learn and to grow. It's the complete opposite of the people with an ego. The people with an ego think they know everything and that they can't learn from anyone. Whereas people with a white belt mentality, they're constantly learning. They're learning from people who are maybe lesser in their career, but they can still learn things from them. The points I made about sales and marketing before, if you have a white belt mentality, when you approach that, you're going to learn so much more than the person who like watched 1 hour worth of sales videos and is like, yeah, I know everything, right? Like who's going to be better at sales? The person who's like, yeah, I know nothing. I need to get really good at this. Or the guy who's like, yeah, I already know everything about sales. I watched a podcast about it in 2018. It's much more powerful to have this mentality because you're going to learn more, you're going to know more, and you're just going to become more skilled in other areas. All right, the next one is speed. Speed is so important. You want to move quickly. You want to do things quickly. If you can get something done today or tonight, do it today or tonight. Don't do it tomorrow. Being quick and acting with speed is the difference between you having to go back to a 9-to-5 job or you balling as a producer. It's literally the difference. It's the deciding factor. If you make $2,000 from a multi-kit that you post, okay? You got person A and person B. They both make $2,000. Person A takes 2 months to drop the kit, okay? Person B makes 5 kits in a month. This guy's quick, this guy's slow. This guy is making a fucking doctor's salary. This guy has to go back to his 9-to-5 because he's too slow. He's making $1,000 a month. This guy's making $10,000 a month. And it's all because this person is quick and this person is slow. Now, you're probably thinking, well, to make 5 multi-kits is unrealistic. Maybe the quality is bad. Yeah, sure. This is a bit of an exaggerated point. The point that I'm trying to make is being quick is the difference between a bit of success and a lot of success. It's like the quicker you get that video out, the quicker you release that kit, the quicker you put your beat on BeatStars, the quicker you send that message, the quicker you reply to that message, the quicker you make progress, the quicker you learn things. And it's just, that's how you get the ball rolling. That's how you get that momentum. People are also going to like you if you move quicker. If someone messages me and asks me for a pack and like 1 minute later I send it, They're gonna like me. They're not gonna think I'm weird or anything. Some people think that's weird. It's not fucking weird. Like, it's gonna be appreciated. You're not texting some girl. Some people are like, oh no, I'm gonna wait 3 hours because this guy took 3 hours to respond. Oh, but it's like, bro, you're not texting a fucking girl, bro. You're doing business. You wanna be quick. I'm making this YouTube video. I could easily take a week to edit it. Maybe a week to do with the thumbnail. Take a day to do the description and the tags. Like, no, bro. I wanna drop this either tonight or the next day. It's gonna be like 2 hours worth of, it's gonna be like 2 or 3 hours worth of editing and all this shit. So it will probably come out the next day. The point is, just move quickly. You're gonna see progress quicker. Next one is caffeine. Now, this might be obvious to some people, but I literally only discovered caffeine like this year, and it's changed my whole fucking life. Literally, if you're not drinking coffee or energy drinks, you're just missing out. You're leaving money, you're leaving thousands of dollars on the table, bro. Because you might wake up and you feel sluggish and you do work till 10 a.m. and then it's like, you just want to chill out. You just want to have a nap. You want to watch a movie. Like, I fucking get it. Believe me, I get it. But the antidote to that is just drink coffee. Just get some caffeine into you. Magically, you're just going to end up doing work. Like, it's like a super ability. It's impossible not to work when you have a coffee. It's fucking crazy. It's a cheat code. And the only reason why I talk about it so much is because I went so much of my life without drinking it. And then when I drank it, it was like 2, 3, 4 times the amount of work I was doing in a day. Maybe if you're watching this and you've been drinking coffee for a long time, you think, oh, this is super basic. But there's probably one person watching this who is wondering why they're not getting a lot done in the day, and they literally just need to drink coffee and then their whole life's going to change. So drink a lot of caffeine. The next one, success is lagging. It's a lagging indicator, okay? You can be putting in a lot of work as a producer right now, this month, but you're not going to necessarily get your flowers for it, and you're not going to see the accomplishments that came from this work straight away. You're not going to see it tomorrow, unfortunately. It depends in which way you're measuring your success, but if we're talking in terms of placements and getting paid for advances and stuff, this is a process. Sometimes it takes over a year from the sample being sent out to ending up on that album and you're getting paid. So it's a lagging indicator. This is just a reminder to stick to it. Don't get discouraged if you're not seeing results straight away. If you know that you are genuinely working hard and that you're getting a good amount of work done in a day, you will see that success. It's only a matter of time. The next one, know your averages / numbers game. Producing is honestly, a lot of it is a numbers game. You can increase the results and the numbers just by doing more. So let's say that I'm messaging other producers because I want to send them samples. Let's say I messaged 100 people and I know that on average, 1 out of 10 is going to respond. So I get 10 responses out of 100. Now, knowing this, knowing my averages, knowing it's a numbers game is powerful because I'm not going to be on my 9th DM and thinking, fucking hell, no one's responded. Like, you know what? I'm giving up, right? I'm going to be like, okay, I send this 9th DM, I send this 10th DM, someone's going to respond. It just tricks your mind into doing more when you know your averages, and it avoids you from getting discouraged. And let's say that every single person you make a relationship with has a lifetime value of $100. Maybe they buy a kit, maybe you get an advance with them, whatever. Every DM you've sent is making you $10. And even if this isn't completely true, if you tell yourself, okay, every DM I send is making me $10, that's powerful because you're doing more, right? You're forcing yourself, you're tricking yourself into doing more. Like, what's the worst case scenario? You messaged 100 people and you got like 8 responses. You've now got 8 emails more than you had before you messaged the 100 people. And maybe one of those people you get a gold record with, right? You never know. And 8 is a low number. I'd honestly assume you can get much higher numbers than that. I just use that as an example. Yeah, treating everything as a numbers game and knowing your averages is important, and it helps you to do more and in return get more results. The next one, spend money to speed progress up. Reinvest the money that you're making from producing and put it back into other ways you can speed your progress up. Don't be scared of spending money. A lot of producers are scared of spending like $30 on a kit or some shit. It's just stupid. Like, if the kit is good, if you know it's going to help you, if it's going to make you a smarter person, a smarter producer, if it's going to make you a better producer, you can make better samples, whatever it is, buy it, bro. It's $30. Motherfuckers will spend $200 on a night at the club, but they won't spend $30. It's stupid. It's an investment in yourself. First of all, it's a business expense, so you can write it off on tax. But second of all, it just accelerates progress. It's important. So things you can buy, which I recommend, is buy Splice at the bare minimum. If there's a plugin you've been wanting for a long time and you know you're going to use it in every loop, buy the plugin. If you're doing automation on Instagram, you should buy ManyChat, buy some AI, vocal service or whatever. Just buy things to make yourself a better producer and to give you an edge over other people. If you play the guitar, buy Guitar Mania. I literally reveal everything about making guitar loops in that. I've played guitar on songs for Youngboy, Nicki Minaj, Rod Wave, blah, blah, blah. It's like, there are people who go, oh, I'm not going to buy that. Like, I can figure it out myself. But it's like, bro, it's going to take you 2 years to figure it out yourself. It comes back to the speed point. You're just delaying progress. Imagine if someone could just tell you straight away, bro, do this. You just saved 2 years worth of time. Exact point that I'm making. When you spend money, you speed progress up. Maybe there's someone who's in a position that you aspire to be and they're doing one-on-one calls. I don't know what it is, right? I'm making stuff up. But it's like, if this person's where you want to be, don't be ignorant and think you know everything and you can figure it out yourself. Sure, you can figure it out yourself, but have that white belt mentality. Just accept this guy's up here. Buy the thing. You know what I mean? The most successful people I know, forget producing, the most successful people that I know who do other businesses, they all understand the importance of investing into themselves, buying mentorships, paying for communities and stuff because it's such a good way to spend your money. But yeah, you can also buy music stuff like Splice, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, very important. Don't be afraid of spending money unless you want to take like 8 years to achieve something. Next one, don't be a lone wolf, all right? Collab with as many people as you can. When you're collabing with other people, you're accessing their network and you're multiplying the chances of you getting a placement. You're multiplying the chances of you getting a sale. It's just very important. Networking is super, super key. You've probably heard it a million times. But yeah, don't be a lone wolf. Don't think you can do everything by yourself. You're just putting the odds against you. Reach out to people, talk to people, build relationships, and see how much it speeds up the trajectory of your career. Next, starters are overpowered. I need to just remind myself of this because I keep forgetting this. Starters are fucking amazing. Starters are so good because the amount of people you can reach from it, it's insane. I send you a starter and you send it back. Now we have double the network of producers to send the loop to. It's crazy. And the reason why I like it so much is because I've had my biggest songs, they've all come from doing starters. And that's why I'm such a big advocate for it. And to be honest, I overlook it. Like even right now, I don't know why I sort of neglect it. I put the loops at the forefront and starters are like an afterthought. I shouldn't do this, honestly. I should send out starters. I should make starters a lot more. It's a great way to get placements. Send out starters. It's better to send out starters than to not send out starters. Next one, Discord. Discord is very, very good for networking. It's so good to meet new producers. It's so good to put your stuff out there, your loops, your beats. You can get reviews, you can be on live calls, you can talk to other producers. There's so much to learn. Maybe you're on a call and this guy pulls up some crazy VST plugin. He's like, yo bro, this is fucking sick. This can help you do X, Y, Z. Don't use this one instead. There's so much to learn. It's great for networking. Be cool, don't be weird. Yeah, don't be weird and cringe and annoying. Be a normal, chill guy and you're gonna make a lot of connections. It's super, super good for networking. So don't sleep on Discord. Next one, free YouTube loop kits. Free YouTube loop kits are so good because it has a much higher ceiling for the amount of people that you can reach, and you never know who's seeing your stuff on YouTube. I've been posting YouTube loop kits for a while, and it's worked out great for me. I've connected with so many people. I've gotten so many sales, so many placements from posting YouTube loop kits. It's very, very effective. If you have an email list with 500 people, the maximum amount of people that can use your stuff is 500. If you post a YouTube loop kit, you have no ceiling. You can reach 10,000 people if the video does really well. You've reached 10,000 people. And as I said before, don't give your stuff out entirely for free. You want to get an email in exchange or a follow or get them to subscribe, whatever you want. And that way you're benefiting off it a lot more. You might be thinking, oh, well, I don't want to put my stuff out for free because what if people steal it? That's just the game, bro. I would rather get a $30 sale and some people steal it than not get the $30 sale and no one steal it. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's just the game. I'm sure there's some workarounds. I'm sure there's some way you can detect if people have stolen your stuff using some AI or some bullshit. That is a risk that I'm willing to take. I just don't really care. Next, music is subjective, okay? This is one of the most important lessons that I learned. Music is subjective. To produce Slow Down by NBA Youngboy, that exact loop, it was called Angel Dust. I sent it to 10 Youngboy producers. None of them used it. And then the 11th one, Disan, used it. This just taught me such a valuable lesson that music is subjective. Don't get discouraged if someone doesn't use your loop and then start doubting yourself and thinking, oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, this loop sucks. I'm never going to send it out. You have to trust your instincts. If you know that it's a good loop, keep sending it out, bro. Because these people who saw it, maybe they just didn't like it. Maybe they just didn't feel like using that specific vibe. Maybe they didn't even listen to it properly because they didn't have their AirPods in, they were in public. You just never really know. Let's take the biggest artist right now, like Taylor Swift or some shit. There are a lot of people who think Taylor Swift's fucking shit. Including me, like I don't listen to her. She's fucking annoying. Her fans are annoying as fuck. And she's the biggest artist in the world, right? Music is subjective. Not everyone's gonna like your sample. But then there's also a point where someone goes, yeah, I'm not gonna use that sample, but I can appreciate it's hard, right? Yeah, I'm not going to listen to Taylor Swift, but maybe I can appreciate one of her songs are hard. It's the same thing. So trust yourself. Don't doubt yourself. Trust your intuition. If you know that the loop or the beat is good, keep sending it out, even though these people didn't use it. Next, replace doom scrolling on your phone on TikTok, Instagram, whatever, with scrolling on Splice and adding sounds to your library. This is really powerful. If you're bored, go on Splice, go for 10 minutes, you're gonna find some crazy shit and you're just gonna make a crazy loop like that. It's so easy. It's so good. You can come across crazy stuff on Splice, crazy vocals, phrases, whatever, and it can just kickstart that idea. When you are low on inspiration and you can't think of a loop to make, then you can just go into Splice, you can see all the things you've saved, and I guarantee you're gonna be able to make a loop out of that. I've done this so many times, it's never failed me. It's a really good tip. Put this tip in my broadcast channel and someone messaged me and was like, bro, this shit is crazy. It's not a joke, boys. It's very good. All right, next one, be a perfectionist. It's the tiny little details sometimes that is the difference between your loop getting used by this producer or them skipping it. It's the tiny details. You have to be a perfectionist. If you're listening to a loop you've exported and you're like, I could probably mix that a bit better, or oh, you know what, that bass isn't the best, or you know what, I could probably re-record that guitar lick, do it. Re-record it. The amount of times I've exported a loop, like 15 times, is crazy because me personally, I'm a massive perfectionist. I'm like, no, this has to be perfect. This has to be perfect. So if you have to go into the project file and fix this and fix this and fix this, do it. Because often that's the difference between it getting used and placed and you making thousands of dollars from it and it making you $0. So be a perfectionist. Always look for little ways you can improve. And if you do notice something is lacking, just go in and fix it. Next one. You pay rent on everything. You are paying rent on everything as a producer, okay? The example that I like to use is relationships. So let's say that I message you and we talk for a bit and I send you loops because you have an opportunity for someone. If I want to keep my relationship with you at a high level, I'm going to have to pay rent on that. When I say pay rent, in this example, it would be me checking up, me messaging you, yo bro, now I have this opportunity, replying to their story, saying congrats for this shit. Whatever it might be, you have to pay rent on these things. It's not just we have a conversation once and then we're best friends and then that's it. And you can think about your best friends in real life. Forget producing. Your best friends, you're paying rent on those relationships in the form of you might see them every week. You're hanging out, you're talking to them every day, you're sending photos to each other. Whatever it is, right? You have to keep attending to these things or they're just gonna decay. Same as sending loops to your weekly list. People are gonna like you and people are gonna use your stuff if you're constantly paying rent on them, if you're constantly sending them stuff. Same as like your body. If you don't wanna get fat or if you don't wanna lose your muscle, you have to pay rent on it in the form of going to the gym. A lot of it is just maintenance. All right, next point, constantly analyze. Be analyzing everything, okay? Analyze the reels that you're watching. Why did I watch this producing reel? Why does this have so many views and so many likes? Why did so many people like it? Why was this reel that I posted shit and got 3 likes? Why did this YouTube video do well? Why did this loop get placed? Why did this starter get used? Why did Drake use this snare? Why is this the biggest song on Billboard right now, but this isn't the biggest song? Why? Keep asking yourself these why questions and you're gonna learn a whole lot. When you are analyzing things all the time, you're learning. And when you're learning, you're just becoming more powerful. All right, next. Everything is work. Get into your brain that everything you're doing is work and try and make sure that everything you do during the day has some sort of ROI to it. So for example, if you are driving your car to meet your girlfriend, you can put on an album and analyze the music and ask yourself those questions I just pointed out before. You know, identify the synths that he likes, the instruments, whatever it might be. While you're driving and analyzing these things and noticing these things and making mental notes in your head, you are effectively working. It's like you're doing market research for the loops and beats that you should make, right? Everything can be work when you put yourself in this frame of mind. You can watch a YouTube tutorial and it's work because you're learning something. You can go to the gym and I could argue that that's work because you're making yourself look better, you're going to be more respectable, you're going to be in better shape, you're going to improve the quality of your relationships. Me personally, I like to make sure that almost everything in a day is work. Sometimes people are like, you're not working all day, you're not sitting at your desk all day. It's like, no fucking shit, I'm not sitting at my desk all day. There's always things that you can do if it improves your reputation, if it makes you smarter, if it makes you a better producer, then yeah, it counts as work. So sometimes watching a 1-hour YouTube video is work. But it depends what you're doing. If you're just watching that 1-hour YouTube video and it's a tutorial, but you're not really listening because you're on TikTok, you're scrolling, that's not work. That's just stupid. All right, next one is burnout isn't real, okay? I can't stand people who talk about, but like burnout is not real. Some people talk about burnout. It's like, what are you even burnt out from? Like you were just on FL Studio and then you dragged in a loop and you made a beat. Like, what the fuck? How are you burnt out? Telling me you added like a pattern and then it's the best thing I can say is don't give power to things that take power away from you. So if I believe that burnout is real, maybe when I'm feeling tired and creatively drained, then I'm like, oh, I've got burnout now. And then I just chill out and I do nothing for the rest of the day. Compare that to telling myself burnout isn't real, stopping a fucking pussy, drink a coffee. It's like, who's going to get more done? Who's gonna win, right? At the end of the day, do you want to win or not? Anyways, next point, keep smashing your head against the wall. So I literally had this thought this morning because I was looking at a wall. A lot of producing is literally just smashing your head against the wall and waiting for the wall to just fucking break so you can walk through. Every time you make a beat and send it out, every time you make a loop and send it out, every time you make a YouTube video, an Instagram reel, a DM, blah, 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 it's like you're just smashing your head against the wall. Eventually the wall's just gonna break and you're gonna see that success. But a lot of people don't even smash their fucking head against the wall. They haven't even done it once. Like, how do you expect the wall to break if you smash your head against the wall once? It's impossible. Try it right now. After this video, smash your head against the wall once and see if the wall breaks. It probably doesn't. As you're smashing your head against the wall, you're going to notice, oh, maybe I can use this angle of my head. You can do certain things to optimize the head smashing and you can get the results quicker. And it's the same metaphor that I'm using for producing, right? As you are taking those steps, as you are taking that action, then you can optimize it. After you've got some data, after you've been smashing your head against the wall, then you can go, oh, okay, I can do this instead, and that will break the wall quicker, right? But you're never gonna get there. You're never gonna get to the point if you haven't smashed your head against the wall a few times. Next one, social proof and testimonials. This is really important, and it's actually quite slept on, I feel like, by producers. Sometimes people might like 60, 70% like you, or 60, 70% wanna use your samples or beats. What tips them over the line is seeing other people liking your beats. Or seeing testimonials, people saying, yo bro, this beat is fucking crazy. Sometimes that is what they need to wake up and hurry up and buy one of your beats. I have used social proof and testimonials to get way more sales on my Guitar Mania kit. Whenever someone messages me and they're like, yo bro, I bought this, it helped me so much, blah, 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 the presets are really good. I will screenshot that and put it on my story and use it as a way to get more sales, because this is people saying, this is people giving me social proof that my kit is good. Me saying my kit is good, like, sure, I'm going to say my kit is good, but if someone else is saying it and they're not getting anything out of it, that means it's genuinely good. It's important to collect social proof and testimonials, and you can use it as leverage to get people to sign up to your list or to buy your product, whatever it might be. It's very, very important. Next point, shiny object syndrome. Shiny object syndrome, traditionally in a business sense, is you are doing trading and you're like, oh, trading's too hard. So then you go to e-commerce, you go to dropshipping, and then you do it for a month, oh, it's too hard. Then you go to OnlyFans management. You're constantly getting shiny object syndrome because you're seeing some motherfucker on TikTok flexing his Lamborghini and like, oh, okay, I'm not going to trade. I want to be this guy instead. Oh, I want to get this Lamborghini. I want to get this Ferrari, right? It's constantly turning your head. It's one of the worst things you can do. Every time you stop, you start at zero again. Now, you might be thinking, how's this relevant to producing? Well, I was having a conversation in the studio and I realized that people, including me, have shiny object syndrome within producing. So for example, for me, I'm like focused on my loops and my kits, but every now and then I'll see some motherfucker making money selling beats. So then I get shiny object syndrome and then I put some time into the beats and then this gets neglected. And it's like, the reality is there's a lot of ways to make money as a producer. And if you're constantly getting shiny object syndrome and you're trying to do these like 8, 10, 12 different ways, it dilutes the quality of everything and you're in fact shooting yourself in the foot. It's a personal decision you have to make. I'm not saying not to try and sell beats and loops. I'm just saying for me personally, with what I'm doing, me trying to sell beats was an example of shiny object syndrome, and it was kind of like I learned the lesson the hard way, maybe just to stick to what I'm already doing. Next one, don't sell loop kits. Now that was the point that I wrote. I'm not saying not to sell loop kits. You can sell loop kits all you want. But what I'm saying is when you're selling a loop kit, you're not solving a problem, okay? People pay you money to solve their problems. And quite a lot of people don't have the problem of they don't have good loops accessible to them. Because I know if I wanted to find great Lil Uzi loops, I could just look up on YouTube and find good Lil Uzi loops. Now, remembering that people pay to have their problems solved, if a lack of good loops isn't that much of a problem, then you're not gonna make that much money. So you need to instead think, okay, what are the problems that producers are experiencing and how can I offer the solution to it? The bigger the problem, the more money you make. So yeah, this is a lesson that I learned the hard way because I dropped a loop kit and then a drum stash and I thought it was gonna do better than it did. And that's literally just because I was selling a loop kit at the end of the day. Most people just don't really need loops as it is, let alone buy them. And yeah, this comes back to the point before about smashing your head against the wall. If I never smashed my head against the wall and I never released that loop kit, I would have never learned that lesson. The best lessons just come from experience. Next one, this is what makes the best beats. The best beats are not necessarily the craziest thing you've never ever heard before. Normally it's got the same formula, it's got the same drum sounds or whatever, but there's that one little tweak to it, that one element that makes it really unique. The That's Facts beat, Wheezy did that, Lil Baby and Lil Durk. That's one of the craziest beats I've heard personally. And it's not like the sounds he used you couldn't find in any drum kit. It's not like the loop was the craziest thing you've ever heard. But what it was the clap played at an unexpected time and the hi-hats didn't play at the start. It didn't play on the one. And just these two little changes added so much to the beat. It made the bounce of the beat crazy. And that's what makes it the best beat. It wasn't that everything was this weird, fucking out of this world shit. No, it was these two elements that made it really good. Also, let me add that I would never have realized this if I didn't analyze beats. If I was listening to my car and I was like, oh, that's a cool beat, and I just got on with my day, I never would have realized what I just said about the claps and the hi-hats. If you listen to it, really pay attention to what's going on, and then you can learn, and then you can implement it into your own beats. Next one, don't name drop and be weird at the studio. In real life, connections are very, very important and are often more valuable because it's face to face, it's in person. But don't be that guy that's just like, be humble, don't be fucking weird. I guess it's like the one-upping and they're like, it's like a cock measuring contest. Yeah. Contest when you're fucking name dropping and you're flexing all this shit. Just don't be that guy, right? It's unlikable. I hope this makes sense. I don't even want to talk about this anymore. Next one, placements are assets. Placements you can use to leverage in a million different ways. So let's say that I got a Drake placement. I can use this in my bio. I can use this when I'm sending out emails. I can use this when I'm messaging big producers and saying, yo, I produce for Drake, right? These things are assets that you can leverage in a lot of different ways. It's more than just posting it once and then leaving it. You can talk about this for years and years. Fuck, you can leverage a Drake placement to pull a girl at the club. You know what I mean? Like, placements are assets. They can do a lot for you. Next one. Buy a plaque when you earn one. Right after this video is done, I'm going to message someone and try and figure out how I can buy a plaque. Because this video would be cooler if I had a plaque here and I had a plaque here. It would be way fucking cooler. It would be more interesting to watch the video. You can take cool photos with it. You can have it in the background of your videos, blah, blah, blah. It comes back to the social proof. It just gives you that credibility. It's a good investment, in my opinion. The last one, use your laptop instead of a phone. The amount of times I've had to do something on my phone and then I ended up on like Instagram Reels or some shit and I didn't even do what I had to do, so many times. Your phone is super distracting. There's a million things going on. It's better to use your laptop. You're much less likely to get distracted. So use your laptop instead of a phone. It's way more better. There's less distractions. You're going to get more done in a day. You're going to see more success as a producer. All right, that is the video. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, join my broadcast channel because I'm talking about all of this stuff in there as well. So if you enjoyed this video, you're definitely going to get value out of the broadcast channel as well. If you've watched to the end, you're very smart because you've definitely learned something. Message me on Instagram if you got value out of it. I absolutely love when people message me about this stuff. I will see you guys in the next video. Leave a like and a comment, blah, blah, blah. I would appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.